All right, college football, sir. By the way, the Bear Bets podcast. Thursday is college football day. Friday is pro football day. Is that correct?
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
That is correct.
Let's start with Texas A&M and Alabama. This is down. What is it? 2.5 now? Is that what the number is right now?
No, it's not. It's like a pick 'em in a lot of places now.
Oh man.
Yeah, but my guess is that there are, I guess, reasons for that. One of them being that there is a rumor out there for a couple of days now that Jalen Milroe tweaked a hamstring in practice the other day. I haven't been able to confirm that one way or another, but if Milroe is unable to play or if Milroe is limited and he's a statue back there, that's going to be a problem against a really good A&M defensive front. So it's amazing to think that Alabama may not be favored in this game, but I grabbed some A&M actually at 3 the other day, so it might be in a position now where I can buy some of this back if it does wind up being where Alabama is an underdog. But I think it's a bad matchup for Alabama here. I think with the way we saw their offensive line and defensive line being kind of dominated by Texas in that game in Tuscaloosa. The Aggies a lot of times kind of disappoint in these big showdown type games, but I think here it's funny. I brought something up earlier in the week about how the significance of this game for Alabama. If you lose, you're out of the national title race. You have 2 losses before October. You've got Texas moving in, who's already beaten them, and people actually, of course, scoffed at it. I'm calling for the end of the Alabama dynasty, but a lot of people made some sense on the other side too, and said that it's a bigger game for Jimbo Fisher and A&M because if you do beat Alabama, you're probably never going to get a better chance with them weaker as they are now. You beat them, and everything's kind of in front of you. Mm-hmm. So maybe there is indeed some more pressure on A&M going into this game. So I like the Aggies, but I certainly don't like the fact that I'm in contention for a CLV trophy here.
You never want the CLV trophy. Alabama, by the way, just to be thorough about it, painted as a 1-point favorite everywhere that we look right now as we do this on Friday morning. All right, Red River, Texas, Oklahoma. Longhorns favored by 5.5.
Yeah, I actually wasn't planning on getting involved in this, but I think the fact that it's now 5.5, I'm gonna have to play Texas at 5.5. I think I just mentioned how Texas went to Alabama, dominated both lines of scrimmage, had the better receiving core, and typically the better team wins in this rivalry. There haven't been a ton of upsets lately in this series, and even historically, the better side typically wins. So, look, Oklahoma, their defense statistically has been much better than what it was last year. But you talk to people who have kind of dissected their film, and they don't see massive improvement in terms of from where they were last year to this year. So maybe it's just kind of a little statistical anomaly, and maybe this is the week that that regression maybe or reality sets in. Because look, Oklahoma, you're looking at games against Arkansas State, SMU, Iowa State, Cincinnati, not a lot of good offenses. So this is by far the best team Texas is going to play. I will say this, the wager that I would make if you don't want to lay the 5.5 with Texas is maybe play Texas to make the college football playoff. Because if the Longhorns win tomorrow, they will have a road win at Alabama. They will have a neutral win against Oklahoma. They don't have another ranked team remaining on their schedule. They go to that Big 12 championship game and they're undefeated and have those 2 wins in pocket and already will be 1 or 2 or 3 in the country, whatever they might be at that point. They might be in the TCU position of last year where they maybe don't even have to win a potential rematch against Oklahoma. So I would maybe shop around and see what kind of number you can get on the Longhorns to make the playoff, because I think that's worth a bet.
And the loser still could have playoff aspirations, correct?
Absolutely. Because like I said, neither Texas nor OU have a ranked team remaining on their schedule. I think it's more so for Oklahoma because maybe they could win out. But maybe there's not a belief that OU could ultimately win out because maybe they're not as good as Texas.
Okay, give us the rest of your best bets here. Oh, Kelley wanted to chime in.
I like Georgia laying the points against Kentucky. I think this is a good buy low spot for the Bulldogs. Kentucky's a team that has had a ton of trouble scoring points against the Bulldogs, and typically these games go under. I think under is the play. Georgia under is probably the way to go here. The last 4 meetings between Georgia and Kentucky. They've been like a total of 103 points. I don't see Kentucky scoring a lot. This feels like maybe a 23-7 type of game. So I'm going to go Georgia and under. I'm going to lay the 3 with UCLA against Wazoo. This has the look of an underdog with fleas type side to do the Cougars. Look, I love them, but I think UCLA with that defense who leads the nation in opponent yards per play. They've had the week off since the game at Utah. I laid the 3 with UCLA. And I like Syracuse plus 10 against North Carolina. There have been a bunch of instances since Mac Brown has returned to Chapel Hill where UNC has really struggled as a big favorite, as they are here. I might have been off a little bit on Syracuse. I didn't think they were going to be very good this year, but they actually are better defensively. I would think Garrett Schrader will have a lot more success running this week than he did last week against Clemson. And remember, too, UNC has that big home game against Miami next week. So maybe this is a little bit of a peek ahead spot for the Tar Heels as well. So I'm going to take the Cuse plus the I found a 10 out there that I grabbed.
Do you want to say something, Kelley? You were chiming in on something?
No, I was just pulling up that Texas to make the playoffs price, minus 105.
Minus 105 on Texas to make the playoffs. Colorado, after getting housed by Oregon and I guess comporting themselves well enough against USC where they came out feeling good about it, losing 48-41. Never really had a chance to win it, though. They are now 4-point favorites on the road against Arizona State. Where does the prime train land here in this one?
I certainly can't lay it with Colorado here for sure. Like, if you look at Arizona State the last couple of weeks, like Kenny Dillingham is kind of like taking over the offensive play. I know they have some quarterback issues, but they've been very respectable the last couple of weeks, whether it's been against Cal or whether it's been against USC rather. So they're scoring a little bit more points, and certainly they will find this defense much more amenable to giving up points and big plays. So, yes, Colorado came back and made that score look closer than it was last week. This is still a team that's shorthanded on defense and at receiver. The offensive line is bad. Shedeur Sanders continues to get hit. It would be ASU or pass for me.
We have about a minute and a half left. I want you to chime in on this because I know you're not the biggest proponent of the 12-team playoff. I know you're not super looking forward to that. As you look at the landscape of how the teams are this year, where it's really a lot more of a level playing field, has your mind changed on that a little bit, or are you still like, no, it's going to diminish the regular season? I mean, where do you stand on it?
I think it will. I mean, I think there are a lot of different thoughts in my head about it. I think this year it's interesting because I know Mitch and Paulie have asked this question earlier in the morning. Like, how many teams can legitimately win the national title? Maybe you could say 10. But on the flip side is what you said about the regular season. Like Ohio State, Georgia, they're never going to play another meaningful regular season game again because they're going to be in the playoff.
Yeah.
So I get it. We talked about this as well. Like, I don't like the 12-team playoff, but you know what? I'm going to be watching and I'm going to be betting on all these games. It's like the baseball with the 37 wild cards they have now. Do I like that an 82 and 80 teams to make the playoffs with the wild card? No. But here I am watching all these wild card games. So more product is good for us.
Yeah. Kelley, could you check on the veracity of that for 37 wild card teams in baseball? I don't know if he's correct
close
on that. Yeah. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate it.
Approximately. Take care, guys. Have a great weekend.
Chris Fallica, the Bear, at Chris Fallica on Twitter. Bear Bets Pod, Thursday, college football, Friday, professional football.
Go to VSiN.com/subscribe to become a VSiN Pro subscriber today.